Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models. My name is Bob Waldron and welcome to another inbox review video. This is going to be of the new Eduard's 1/48 scale P-51D-5 Mustang. This is a Provi Pack edition. This was a brand spanking new tool in 2019. I do love Eduard. They do produce some fantastic kits, and whenever they bring out a nice new tool, I really must have to get it. This kit is going to cost you around about the £30–35 mark, depending where you go from, but you know what, it is definitely worth it. Right, so let's just open this up. As you can see, nice box art. We've got some nice markings. As always, Eduard are pulling out 6 different markings, not just like different markings, I mean we're talking like very different markings as well, so I do like that about Eduard. Let's just jump straight in with our first sprue just here. This is the main fuselage section. We can bring you right in and just look at this super next generation surface detail, which, you know, this is the big thing about Eduard, is I think really is their surface detail. As you can see, you know, it takes a wash absolutely beautifully, which I've just put on here just to sort of show it off. You can see the recessed panel lines looking very crisp. Really a nice scale with the model, but you've got all these recessed rivets as well, which generally all over the surface area we're seeing these very light recessed rivets, which if you kind of look sort of closely, you'll see where we have the recessed panel lines, the rivets are just a little bit bigger, just around there, but then where we have inside our panels, the recessed rivets are a little bit lighter. They've really sort of got a nice sort of scale going on there, and as you can see with the wash, you can see how the recessed panel lines are coming out quite a bit with the wash, but the little tiny ones that are just on the flat surfaces, they're small enough just to take a wash, but not too big that they take too much of a wash that it comes out and overpowers you, which just absolutely makes it some really sort of stunning surface detail. So that's the surface detail all over the kit. Don't need to show it you anymore. It is just absolutely sublime, perfect. You're gonna love it. So moving along, we have quite a few sprues for this kit. Here's the first one. We have all sorts of fuel tanks and everything. You know, level of surface detail is pretty much the same across the board. All different types of fuel tanks, so as we can have different versions and different types of fuel tanks. We've got a nice couple of free fall bombs, big ones, small ones. We've got rockets and all sorts of good stuff on there. Moving along, we have some of the sort of cockpit detail here, so let's bring you in. We do have instrument display panels, which again we have like 2 types going on here. We'll see a lot in this kit. I mean, we've got 2 types of noses there. We've got about 3 different types of propellers going on, so I'm assuming that these sprues are being made so they can make lots of different releases of different kind of slightly versions of the P-51D Mustang, just for selling purposes, but we probably won't use all of them. Again, back to our instrument display panel, there's lovely detail going on there, and we also have the blanked out ones, because with these Provi packs we get the photo etch, and the photo etch will go nicely down on the flatter ones, saves us going off and trying to sand all these down nice and flat. It's a nice little touch they do. Some more internal cockpit detail, loads of detail going on there. We do have some more just up the top just here as well. Moving along again, loads of sort of dials and buttons and all this kind of stuff as well, with all the detail that goes inside the cockpit. If we turn it over, just to sort of quickly let you know, there isn't any sort of ejector pin marks in any sort of bad places. You can sort of see how, you know, they do put all these little bits just on here. These are just so that can eject it here rather than on the piece itself, so then you get like nasty ejector pin marks. Haven't really seen any in any nasty places. Right, so you know, again, we're sort of talking a top quality kit. We do have another sprue here. This one, we do see a lot of lovely wheel well detail as well. You know, all sorts of detail going on here. It's not one piece. We have to build it up into several pieces, which me personally, I find that means we end up getting more detail. As you can see, you know, nice wheel well detail all the way around. Should look really nice. And again, you know, we've got the wheel well doors, and you probably can't see, maybe you can. We've got all that lovely, really tiny little rivet detail going on there as well. Right, more along here also, just to give everything the absolutely stunning detail. Our tires just here, they do come in two halves, right? So you do have like tread detail on there, so when you do bring them together, I mean, it's probably a good idea to kind of rough those tires up so it looks like the rubbers sort of had worn to it, and it should get rid of that join line and should make them look rather nice. Hubcaps are looking good also, and plenty of detail going on all the way around to bring this kit together. Then we have our wing section. Again, the level of detail for the wing section is just the same as the fuselage. All that lovely detail on there. I'm even feeling some sort of little bits of raised bolts and stuff going on as well, which is all really cool. Turn this over. Nothing really to write home about on the opposite side, right? But yeah, looking really stunning, the surface detail. Then we come to the canopy section. If we just get this out, it's one of those nice spinny ones as well, right? Nicely packaged in some nice quality bags. Right, and again, as you can see already, we've got like 3 canopy tops just here again for the different versions. But if we sort of bring you in, you never really sort of pick it up properly on camera, so you have to take my word for it with a Mark 1 eyeball. But you know, the canopies, I'm not seeing any sort of cobweb effects. I'm not seeing any sort of scratches or anything like that. It's looking really nice and clear. A little bit of a polish just to give it that extra nice little touch, and they are all good to go. We then have the decals, right? The decals, we've got some lovely looking decals actually in here, right? Really going to look smart with all the different markings we get, right? But let's just bring you out a little bit. So here's the decals. If we remove our little sheet here, lots and lots of decals going on. We've got all our stencils just down here, which are a little bit sort of hard to see, really nice and tiny, but you know, technically they do look quite nice and readable. The main sort of markings as well, hopefully you've just seen here some really sort of nice artwork going on. It's got sort of like a nice matte finish, feeling kind of thin, right? And you know what, all the colors look good. It looks nicely in registry. We do have the decals for the instrument display panel, so you know, that's the great thing about Eduard. You got the photo etch, you got the paint version, you got the let's throw decals on. You know, you can really choose how you like to do your instrument display panels, right? And then we've got all this checker stuff as well, right, for those kind of markings. You can spray them yourself, but you know what, the decals don't look too bad. I mean, they probably look good with the decals. Always better like spraying if you've got the time to mask them up, but looking good. Then we have these nice little extras that you do get with the Profit Pack edition. We do have, you know, the canopy masks as always, you know, a bit impossible to see on camera. But then we do have a nice bit of photo etch. This photo etch is all really nice for the cockpit section. Some bits are for a little bit here and there around the model, but majority of it is for the cockpit. And the instrument display panels, they've got those lovely nicely glossed up dials. If you've ever done it in the past where you sort of, you put the photo etch on and maybe you dot in a bit of gloss just to make the dials look like glass, well, they've got this new thing now they've been doing for a few years now where they nicely gloss them up for you already. We've got the seat belts and everything. Should look pretty stunning. They always do actually. Then the instructions, well, this is a basic World War II sort of aircraft, so it's pretty sort of basic, as pretty standard. Got a nice bit of introduction, lovely instructions as always, nicely coloured, good quality paper. Let's bring you in a little bit closer. Yeah, everything's sort of nicely coloured to show, you know, what needs to be cut off, where you put a piece and everything. Loads and loads of detail going into the cockpit section, loads and loads of photo etch, so it's going to take you a little bit of time just working on that, but you know, basic configuration, bringing those two halves of the fuselage sections together, bringing the two halves of the wing sections together. Loads of detail in the wheel well, which I've already said, and that should look really good on this model. And then you bring the fuselage and the wing sections together, and you pretty much built the model. Yes, as always, you know, we've got the options for landing gears up or down. You know, we can move the flaps and everything. You know, those lovely bits and bobs. Canopy, open or closed. We do have, you do need to sort of look out for this. We've got lots of bits on this where it says markings A, B, C, D, E, F, right? So whatever piece you put in needs to be done for the certain marking that you choose. So you want to pick the marking, the set of the markings you want to do first, so you know which pieces you need to put in, because there are a few differences to this, right? So which then brings us to the markings. We've got loads of stunning markings here. Do like how they always go off and do the whole, you know, so and so pilot piloted this aircraft for this particular tail number. It gives you a nice bit of history and everything, all cracking. We do have this nice olive drab with a sort of a medium sea grey underside. Nice one there. The rest are pretty much a lot of natural metal finishes, so you know, P-51D Mustangs, always great to practice your natural metal finishes, and there's loads of different markings for these as well. Hopefully, as you can see, moving along, different sort of tails, different sort of noses, really sort of quite colourful, nice natural metal finishes. And then we've just got some sort of natural metal finish kind of lacquer paint areas, and as well as the decal stencil placement also. So all in all, do you know what, for 35 pounds, brand new tool, absolute stunning surface detail. Eject pin marks are absolutely fine. I haven't seen any sort of nasty flash. The canopies look great. You get photo etch, canopy masks. Looks like really stunning decals as well. Nice options of different markings, as you've just seen. You know, as long as this goes together with no real problems, I mean, this is a top kit. I know Eduard, they normally have a good fit. I know sometimes, I mean, we have been building the Tempest recently. It has got a slight bit of a fit issue here and there, but you know what? It really isn't that bad. I mean, you know, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. It's actually quite good, really, if you just take your time and make sure you make sure everything fits before you start gluing. So I'm assuming, you know, we're going to have the same sort of thing with the build side of things with this P51, is just, you know, make sure you test fit everything. It should fit really well, but the surface detail and the decals and the markings should look like a really cool P51D Mustang. And really, you could probably build loads of these, because there is just so many sort of different markings and options you can do, and they do look really cool. So I'm definitely going to give this a big thumbs up, and it's probably somewhere up there on my list of a build I would want to do. So yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed that as much as I have. So until next time, my name is Bobby Waldron, this is Genesis Models, and I'll catch you later.